everyone, this is Letty from Metal Cell Podcast. I'm joined by Darragh and Arron from Horrenda. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hey, Letty, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Welcome to the podcast. Do you want to introduce what roles you play in the band?
Arron, you go first.
Well, I'm Arron. I'm the vocalist for Horrenda.
I'm Darragh. I'm the guitarist and other such things for Horrenda.
Awesome. You guys played in Lost Lane in Dublin with Rotten Sound. How was that gig?
Yeah, it was good crack. It was I'm sick as fuck at the moment as a result of a couple of gigs that we did, but other than that, it was good crack. Like played with Lost we played in Lost Lane. This is the first time we did it, but we played with Rotten Sound before and seen Levain
Big
again.
redemption arc here.
Big redemption arc, yeah. So yeah, it was good crack. But Arron, tell them about the redemption arc.
Yeah, so years ago when Horrenda was very young, let's say, we were Rotten Sound were supposed to play in on the rocks above the Voodoo Lounge, and as an after party for Mayhem's gig of playing all the way through The Mistress, the famous album, and we told the bookers that we would play 45 minutes as support for Rotten Sound, and we turned up and we played our entire 45-minute set in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we somehow outgrindcored the grindcore band.
Yeah, that was. I'll be honest with you. I got to meet Attila after the gig, and that was cool. But
Attila were there. Oh my God.
no, the lead singer of Mayhem, Attila.
Oh, not the band.
That's
Oh,
his,
sorry.
that's his real name.
And yeah, that was cool. But the gig, yeah, was a bit of a miss. But yeah, we had a good redemption arc this time. I think everybody really enjoyed it, and we sold some shirts, so it was a great time.
Awesome. That's impressive that you performed your 45-minute set in 15 minutes.
I don't even know how we did that. I'll be honest with you, I really don't. Because we didn't skip any songs. We just got to the end of it, like, oh fuck.
You
I
must have
think we
been
played
going a
slow
mile a minute.
2 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
Oh my God. Crazy.
zero chill.
No, zero chill, exactly. Your new single Handprints is coming out the 15th of November, in a couple of weeks. Is there a story behind the song?
Kind of. We kind of started. We used to write a lot of songs about Irish history, and a lot of different parts about it. Like our most famous song would be Slua. It's about old Celtic Irish, old Celtic ghost stories and stuff like that. Handprints was just kind of this idea, the kind of handing down the kind of repetition in Ireland that we've noticed, through the last few years. We've noticed less of a role of the Catholic Church in our generation, but there's still this sort of who a kind of nepotism to everything that I found quite interesting, and this just trying to I know a lot of people that they just kind of repeated what their parents did, and they kind of got their roles in society through the people they know. It's just kind of an interesting kind of idea to go with.
That is really, really
As best I can describe it. Yeah.
Kind of just repetition. If you hear it enough times, you'll end up repeating it.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of repetition in the song about the kind of washing away of handprints, as if it's not just the evidence that you've left. It's the handprints that have been left on you that you just carry on.
And even in the riff as well, we repeat it a lot more than we normally would with in Horrenda songs. The parts are kind of repeated as well to kind of emphasize that.
That's a really cool detail, actually.
It's supposed to be like a panic attack song. It's a very kind of, especially because we kind of played it a bunch live to try, and because whenever we write songs, we will play it live just to get a feel of the song. And if it doesn't fit a live setting, which is what we center most of what we do around, if it doesn't commit itself live, we don't feel the song has worked for us. So it was just kind of it was quite a long, there's a few different versions of the songs. A few people might be able to hear in a few old demos of ours and stuff like that. But this version that we've kind of stuck to, that we've added the video to, and it's one of the reasons why the video is, rather than having like a story and a dramatic element, it's more us. It's just us live, and how kind of our crazy our live shows can kind of get.
No, it's a perfect representation, and you picked like the perfect sort of video on, which we'll get into now. The video is absolutely amazing. I love it. Was it
Thank
done
you.
in one take, or did it take a couple of tries playing the song, or did you just like?
No, there was no take. It's
There
literally
was no
our
take.
live show. We basically Angel from Cosmo Palace uh came in and shot our live set in the Grand Social, and that was it. There was no takes. There was just go.
That's
That was it.
awesome.
So
It's great.
everything you see happened. Like we didn't plan it.
Live.
We didn't plan it.
Fuck it,
We,
we'll
we
do it
didn't
live.
plan, we didn't plan it. We didn't plan it. Everything you see in the video just kind of happened. Like everything from like I didn't even realize Arron did most of the stuff that he did until I was watching the video. I was like, whoa, that was crazy.
It was because we've been friends with Angel for a while, and we've collaborated with him a lot. And the one thing that we consistently talked about, especially after we recorded our music video for Axe Wound during the pandemic, was a part of the Axe Wound video was to try and capture us performing live, but not in a live setting, in a more of a studio setting. And going forward, we were constantly trying to think of ways of kind of showing people who don't have the chance to see us live, to really show kind of what we're about, what we mainly do this for. So it was just a lot of back and forth with Angel. We ended up booking a gig in the Grand Social, and then it was just that kind of like, all right, if we let Angel bring in his cameras and just shoot us playing live, no script, no magic, just the raw element of us playing live, and try and put that into video form and try and get that out there as far as we can. That was basically our main mission going forward with this music video.
Well, you've definitely achieved that. It's like definitely one of my favorite music videos that I've seen this year. And I know it's not out yet, but like it is seriously amazing.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate that.
Of course, like you pulling points to like everything is just like so good.
Yeah, we've pondered doing that live in other venues, but it's a questionable it's a questionable act. Especially in some places where the security are a bit, they always have a watchful eye on me, typically, because as you can see in the music video, unlike a lot of other kind of bands that would be in our genre, I have a tendency to be more out on the floor than on the stage, and that's a little bit harder to handle. So I can imagine it freaks some establishments out a little bit, but I haven't gotten into serious trouble just yet.
I love in the video that it captures as well when Arron walks out. It kind of like the parting of the Red Sea. The crowd just moves.
Yeah,
it just gives him this like arc, and very few people like interact with him. I think in this video you get a few people that do, and at Siege as well. Like last week, there were people interacting with him as well. But Lost Lane, we had a parting of the Red Sea where people just are too freaked out to even go near him. So I always enjoy that part whenever we play live. I think that's really funny because I always get a really good bird's eye view of it too.
You're the Sid Wilson of the band.
Yes.
That's it.
Put that on a business.
That's the guy with the big nose, right?
No. How was Siege? How was everything down there? I unfortunately couldn't go, but like the bill was amazing.
Oh yeah, we had a good time.
It's fucking fantastic.
Also,
it's always a good time.
It was a redemption arc as well for us there, Arron, because last time we played the Casbah stage was that was our first time playing Siege. It's a bit of a train wreck, but this time was fantastic. The crowd was unbelievable. Thanks to everyone who came and saw us, and I've never seen so many Horrenda t-shirts in one place. So that was kind of surreal. But yeah, man, it was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
To the people in the front row that were singing along word for word, I
Oh
don't know
man,
how
that
the
was work.
fuck. I don't know how
I don't
you
even know
learn the words.
because we don't release the words. I don't know what Arron says. I mean, that's even more impressive. The people and people cheering for samples as well, which is also a new one. That was fun.
You should do like a guess the lyric challenge, and like whoever gets the closest like wins a signed CD or something.
I'll tell you this,
Yeah,
Letty.
that'd be a good idea.
I'll tell you this, Letty, right? The first time that like I knew Arron was saying was when we were recording Nerve Gas. I'm like, oh, that's what that lyric is. When he was recording it over and over again, or whenever he's tracking, that's usually the first time that I know what Aaron's actually saying. So fair play to
You-
the fans that actually know it from just like coming to the shows. That's even more impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Horrenda is a pretty, eye-catching name. How did you come up with it?
Oh, will we tell the joke or we tell the real one? Which one are we?
I think we should tell the real one because it is kind of interesting how kind of lazy we were, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so like initially I wanted Sinnet Horrenda, right? Which is like this cool moment where like this crazy pope put another dead pope on trial, but that was taken. So we went
Oh,
with Horrenda, and I didn't want to. I've kind of like double barrel names. I don't like a lot of bands I've been in. I've had those, and I'm just like, oh, it's a bit unwieldy. So I was like, right now we'll just stick with Horrenda. And once or twice I have kind of floated the idea to change the name, but then got shot down. So we're just kind of stuck with it.
that's
But our
that's
lo but
that's
our
a pretty
logo's
interesting
cool.
name. Yeah,
But our
your
logo's
logo
cool.
is cool.
So, and yeah, the logo's cool. So I've kind of grown to like it. But yeah,
It lets everybody call us horrendous. So it's just
which are a Canadian band, a Canadian
yeah,
death metal band.
that are proggy and amazing and way more talented than us,
But
but
they're
sure.
called horrendous.
They're called horrendous.
That's some reverse psychology there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
haven't
that's the
listened to the
story.
new album yet.
But that's the story.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It just kind of stuck.
Yeah, it's kind of stuck and now we're like it's I don't know. It some days I like it, some days I don't. But yeah, I think I kind of we've grown to really grown into the name, because the live show, whenever you say, oh, you come into a Horrenda show or when we're booked, there is that kind of buzz where people like are now know what to expect, which is usually Aaron jumping on them.
The another thing is years ago, if I remember correctly, it was our bass player Keith who designed it. We our logo, if you don't look at like the Horrenda logo as itself, we have another logo that's like a V.
Yeah.
Um, that is based off of our song Slua, the old Celtic ghost story. And I've actually started to notice more and more people seem to be pushing that rather than the Horrenda name.
Yeah.
That sort of which I think is awesome. I know one of our band members has gotten a tattooed, but I believe there's one or two people that are like not even Irish got it tattooed as well. So
Oh,
we're kind of pushing that a little bit more. It just like the kind of same idea that we had, the same idea that like whenever you think about Black Flag, you don't think about the actual letters. You think about the four
the four blocks.
The four bars.
Yeah.
And we've been pushing that more and more with our merch.
And with the
Because
totems on stage and stuff, yeah.
Totems on stage and all that stuff, and we because our actual band logo of Horrenda, we tend to throw that underneath or above pictures, like our recent merch drop that was inspired by a film called The Devils, and it just looks like a roof or a floor because our logo was so illegible that it just kind of fits in with the picture. But it's the V logo that I think is starting to catch on more.
Yeah, that I really like the V logo. I think it's much it's much more of our thing rather than Horrenda, which is kind of, as I said, it's a lot easier to go horrendous, but once you see the V logo, you're like, oh no, I know who it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we like to push.
It's funny because when I found you guys on Instagram while researching for this interview, I saw your logo. I was like, Ah, that's them. I've seen you before, so
See, that means it's working, Aaron. Yes.
I'd hope so. You know.
If you could collaborate with any musician dead or alive, who would it be? And you can both give an answer.
Oh, if I could collaborate
Yeah.
with, that's an interesting question.
I already know who's gonna pick. Let's see if I'm
Who
wrong.
do you think we're gonna pick? Who?
Dillinger.
Because I tarnish it. I don't want to tarnish that. That's my favorite band. I wouldn't touch that. Leave that alone. It's perfect as it is.
Are you going to go see Greg next year?
Of course I am. You're going to see me hanging from the ceiling of Whelan's at that gig. Possibly with Greg. But that's a difficult question. I'd probably have to go with. Actually, I'm going to give Keith's answer for this. Keith is a huge fan of an American harsh noise and punk band called Man is the Bastard. And for for years, Keith has been texting this guy. Like this band has done splits with the likes of like Full of Hell and stuff. Like they're on Mersbell and all these big acts. So I suppose I'm going to give that answer for Keith because Keith can't be here. So yeah, I'd say Man is the Bastard for Keith.
What a name.
Yeah, no, they live up to it, believe me. Darragh is probably Blink 182. No, Angels and Airwaves.
Yeah, but not with Horrenda, obviously. I mean, absolutely, that is the answer. But not with Horrenda. With Horrenda, I'd love to do something with Harry Carey for the Sky or Carg. That genuinely would be amazing. We have a song called The Five Fidelity, which we don't play live because it doesn't really work live, to go back to what Arron said. But our kind of like influences on the more kind of like black gaze kind of thing is it comes out through that. So they'd be my answers.
Oh, very good. You've mentioned Blink there. That's a whole can of worms for me.
Fair.
What era of Blink?
Personally, I think what's it? Neighborhoods or the actual 2003 album is the most interesting one. But Neighborhoods is phenomenal. I mean, there's a reason why I double stack Delays. Like that's where I got the idea.
Good choice. They're my favorite albums as well. Do you have any favorite album releases of 2023 so far, or any that you're looking forward to in 2024? Because year's almost over.
Well, I do have to say this because there's too many to count this year, and I never really come out of any year with a specific like one album was my favorite. The new Scratch album that came out the other day just absolutely blew me away. I've always been a fan of the Scratch, but that album absolutely destroyed me. I've been listening to it nonstop. And the new, I'd be like a hardcore guy out. Like I play in a black metal band, but I've always been more like hardcore kind of pushed. So I'd have to put up Military Gun's new album and the new Jesus Piece. The new Jesus Piece album is just, I got to see them play live this year at Outbreak, and it's just crushing. It's just amazing. You can even hear, even for like a hardcore band, there's all these like weird like callbacks to like Suffocation and stuff in it. And it probably those three albums so far, the ones that always just that are like jumping to my brain are the new Scratch, the new Military Gun, and the new Jesus Piece.
Top picks.
Totally fair. Yeah, I mean, as far as metal, I don't really listen to that much metal. Outside of writing it, or if I'm jumping back into, if I have a reason to, I'll listen to a bunch of metal. But I kind of jump around a bit with my taste. So like the last metal album that I've really, really enjoyed is like the Fear Factory updates, with the new singer, or the like re-industrialized. It's quite good, where they pretty much got the new singer in and remixed everything.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
that was amazing. Like Fear Factory are phenomenal live as well. So I'm always going to go Fear Factory. But yeah, I like the new Blink album is really good. Ministry released a new single there a little while ago, and it's a proper bop. Insomnium. I don't know if you listen to Insomnium, but as far as like a black metal, post black, uh, they're some of the best. And then a band called Youth Fountain as well, which I've really, really enjoyed. Yeah, so there you go. It's kind of all over the place.
Awesome. It's
Youth
good to have
Fountain.
Youth
a lot of
Yeah.
different tastes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how you do it. Like the thing about it is, right, if you're going in and writing, when you're writing a specific genre of music, particularly something like black metal, where a lot of people only, like a lot of guys that do it, or even some of the fans as well, they just go, right, we're gonna pick these three things and then run with them. Blast beats, tremolo picking, and sounding like the Nazgul. That's great. Love that. It's phenomenal. But black metal is a cool genre where you can like stretch it out and kind of do really anything you want with it, where you can go as far, as to operatic metal or whatever. And I think the more you open your scope with the stuff you listen to, the more you're able to bring into it. As I said, like I learned to double stack delays not from Alcest, which some people would think it's from. No, I discovered Alcest after I listened to Tom DeLonge doing it on Angels and Airwaves. So it does kind of all feed back in. And one of the cool things about this band specifically is when we're writing stuff, we will pull ideas from it. Like in Handprints, there's a gent bit for some reason.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought to put a gent bit in Horrenda's music. CJ thought about that because he really likes gent and mathcore and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is it all comes back around. You can't just sit there and listen to just one genre because then you don't innovate. You're
You
just
get
like, oh, I need
bored.
to do like this. And you get bored.
100%.
And you get bored. But you also
You
don't
get
innovate
bored.
because you wall yourself off.
'Cause,
Especially like, sorry, I don't mean to
no,
cut you
it's
off
all
there.
good. Don't worry about it.
We just found, especially because we're trying to get to a point where we can play live more often. And throughout the years, like when we first started off the band, we were like all crazy into black metal. We want to do a black metal thing, but then you start to divert because if you're playing the same music you're listening to all the time, you start to either repeat yourself or, as I said earlier, get bored or tired of it, and then it stops being interesting. I find I obviously that's I can't speak for everyone, but everybody in Horrenda has such a diverse taste in music to the point where like you never know, like we'll all be listening to something completely different at the same time while we're writing, and it just allows us to kind of bounce off each other with new ideas. For all you know, like when we were shooting one of our last music videos, we were playing country music
That's
in
true.
the background.
That is true. That is exactly what happened. Yep. It was
But
very
you
weird.
need that sort of balance in a band for like everything to be different. Because if you're all listening to the same stuff, it's just gonna sound, not that interesting. But like
Yeah.
Isolated.
the fact that you guys listen to all sorts of different stuff is like, really cool, and it shows in the music. Like, I don't know if you guys ever dove into it, but when the 2017 the kind of like SoundCloud rap scene came out, like in America, with like all the little rappers and whatever, that kind of made me discover like, oh, I can listen to other types of music.
Yeah, but see, that's it. And I mean, I think like once you realize that just because you like X, Y, and Z doesn't mean you can't like this and that. I think that's very it's just hurting you in the end. It's just like, it's kind of like when you're younger and you like this one thing and then you don't tell anybody you like this one thing, and then you go to college and you're like, oh, it's great. That's kind of what it's like. It's a musical equivalent of being a Yu-Gi-Oh fan in college or something like that, where you find, oh, it's okay that everybody likes this.
It's a
Um,
eureka moment.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good kind of personal growth moment. And look, a lot of lads and girls will just there and like, I just like this one specific genre, and we'll just drill this one specific, and that's cool. And some of them will be in a band that will make it, and it'll be cool. But for us, if we were to do that, I don't think about being in a band like that would be fun. And we wouldn't, like, our life set is so varied because of the way we write. But then also, like, for me, when I'm writing stuff, it's like, no, it needs to be hooky. The hooks are the big thing, because that's the stuff you remember. Like, when you're just the Handprints, for example, it'll be little hooks that you hear. It won't be like, oh, that was so crushingly brutal. It's like, yeah, it was, but you also remember the hook, and then that's it. Like nerve gas as well is the same. You remember the hook. You don't really remember how brutal it was, and that's what people sing along to, as we've seen recently, which is very cool.
There's some songwriting 101. Guys, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course, and Handprints is out the 15th of November.
Absolutely.
Sure is.
Get stuck into it.